I'm Cheri Coleman. I am an FMC elder since 2005 in the Southern California Conference. I am appointed to Loma Linda VA as both a chaplain and a certified clinical pastoral educator, and so I train chaplains. So in 1990 something, I had 5 kids at home with me and my husband. I was homeschooling and I was totally burnt out. And I wanted to go to school because that's something for me that is very life-giving. And so through a series of events, I ended up at Fuller Theological Seminary in Pasadena. I had no intention of finishing a program. I was just going for self-care, which is kind of funny. And so I was there and loving the classes and did something or heard something about CPE, Clinical Pastoral Education, in the class I was taking on death and dying. And I thought, that sounds like fun. And so I got into CPE and realized for the first time in my life, I was born to do this. Chaplaincy was just like, I was like a fish being released into water, and I loved it from my very first call. And so at that point, I thought, maybe I want to be a chaplain. And I learned I had to do a Master's of Divinity, and I had to do this extra training. And so I changed from the School of World Mission to the School of Theology and started pursuing this vocation that I really had no intention. I didn't start seminary thinking I was going to be looking for a job when I was done. That wasn't anywhere on my radar. So God really, it was kind of like bait and switch, go to school and do some self-care, and then this whole other world opened up to me. And I loved being a chaplain. I absolutely loved it. And my supervisor, my trainer while I was there, said, you should think about becoming an educator. I was like, I'm a really good chaplain, but I don't know if I could ever be a really good educator or supervisor. So that was a journey of its own. So to be a chaplain, you have to have a Master's of Divinity. You have to have a year of clinical pastoral education, and to be board certified, you have to have another 2 years of experience on top of that. And then on top of ordination, you have to be endorsed. And so that's another step beyond ordination. So it's really a lot. And when people hear, they're usually just shocked. There's a great need for understanding yourself, understanding God, and what is the call? What's God inviting you into when you come into the hospital? Because that's a very vulnerable population. So talking with people about where do they find meaning in life? How are they understanding what's happening to them? So many times people will say, well, I think God's trying to teach me something. And so starting with that, I might see somebody one time for 10 minutes or maybe 3 hours, or I might see them off and on again over a period of years, and God uses that. I love that part of chaplaincy, of being in the nitty-gritty, being in life and death, being in brokenheartedness. Unfortunately, they don't often call the chaplain if there's something to celebrate, or I know a baby's born, come bless our baby. It's usually, we had a baby and they died. Would you please come be with the family? Being in the hospital and meeting people where they're at, to me, that's what Jesus modeled. He went to people. He walked with people. He was right there in the nitty-gritty. And I think that's one thing in my theology, is that God says in the beginning, I'm not afraid of being human. I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of your mess. I'm not afraid of anything. And then Jesus just came right down into the midst of it. And he's like, come on, let's do this thing. I think Jesus was a chaplain. I think Jesus loves people. Jesus loves people right where they are. I think that God really invites and wants all of his kids at the table. Love people, feed people, heal people, clothe people, visit people in the hospital and in prison. It reminds me of the story of the big feast and the parable. And Jesus is like, bring everybody, bring everybody. And so that's one of the parts that I love about the job that I get to do. I get to be in some really hard, beautiful, sacred, heartbreaking moments with people who may or may not know God. But having somebody there who says, I'm here as a representative of God. I'm here, I can hold you while you cry. I can hear your anger while you rage at where is God and why did this happen? I think God's okay with all of that. And I think as we can be that out in the world beyond the brick and mortar of the church, there's so much life there and there's so much hope and joy. And that right there, I think, is the bottom line of chaplaincy. I see you in this moment and I accept you.